Well, I'm Kerry Garrison.
I'm Chad Handy.
And welcome to the Firearm Show. And today we have the Glock 19.
Yes.
You're a big fan of the Glocks. You actually carry a 17.
Yes, I do.
And recently at SHOT, we actually got to fire the 41 and the 42. And the 41, a nice big 45 single stack.
Yes.
The 42 is that little 380.
I was really surprised on that one.
That 380 was kind of fun.
It was very fun.
Only two fingers, but
Totally controllable.
Totally controllable. But we're here to talk about the 19. So the 17 was really what got Glock its name.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one that they built for the Austrian military, and then it just kind of took over the world. It is basically the bar that everything else has to shoot for these days.
Pretty much.
And so tell us what's unique about the Glock compared to something like a 1911.
I don't know. Weight right out of the gate versus, the 1911. I don't know. It just feels right. Not that a 1911 doesn't, but this, for me, is just so comfortable to shoot.
It is very comfortable to shoot. Now, a lot of people are going to knock it because there's no external safeties.
There is that. But my rule on that is if you don't have a need to have your finger on the trigger, it shouldn't be there.
That's a good point. Where a 1911 has the grip safety, it has the slide safety, and okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't feel that comfortable carrying. Now, we've already double checked all these for safety and emptiness and all that, make sure they're all clean. I don't feel good carrying a gun like this. It's cocked, it's ready to fire. All you have to do is flip that safety off. Now, I know that that's not a big deal. You practice, it comes off really easy.
Right.
I'm not going to knock people who carry a 1911 as a self-defense gun, but when we compare this to the Glock 19, the Glock 19 has some advantages. Now, okay, 45 caliber versus 9.
You can't really debate that one. I mean, 45 is a 45.
It is a 45, but if you're using hollow point rounds or the good defensive rounds in your 9, the difference in a wound cavity is measured in millimeters. It's not a massive difference. I mean, yeah, you're going to have a bigger hole in the end, but
right.
Is it going to stop somebody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be shooting Full Metal Jacket as a self-defense round.
No.
It's going to just penetrate, go right through.
Right.
But
we know lots of guys who carry 45s, and that's fine, but it comes down to flavor.
Now, capacity. I got 7+1. What do I have over here?
It depends on the mag.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
Stock, it's a 15-round mag.
mag on this.
So I got
But
15 plus 1. So I have twice the ammo capacity as the 1911.
Plus, you can still put 17s in there. You can use the mags out of the 17 in the 19.
Absolutely. You can get extended mags for it. And
plus 2s and
33 rounders. Those were fun.
Well, yeah.
But as your daily carry, 15 rounds, 7 rounds. Kind of hard to argue that.
There is. I mean, you're going to have your debate where, you only have to have so many rounds if you're a good shot. I get that. And I totally understand that. But the thing about it is this will get it done as well. I mean, and it comes down to flavor again. We like these better than that. It's lighter, gives us a little bit more ammunition. I mean, for us, it's the way to go.
And recoil. You're going to have a little less recoil with the 9 than you are a 45,
Yep.
which means you're going to be able to stay on target better. You're going to be able to get back on target after that shot and keep doing hurt to the bad guy. Where the 45, if you don't go out and shoot this on a regular basis and really become proficient with it, it's got a nice kick to it.
It really does.
So that, to me, is a good reason to go with the Glock. This 19 is my personal carry gun. I debated all the different options that were out there, compared it to the 17. Nothing wrong with the 17. Love it. In terms of size, it's just a little smaller. I mean, there really isn't much in the way of differences here in terms of overall size. I just wanted something that was going to be a little easier to conceal. So I went with the 19. Nothing wrong with that. 17 is a good choice as well. We have the tactical rail on it. You can put a laser, flashlight.
Combo of the two.
The sights are pretty good. You have this U shape in the back with the single dot in front. Pretty easy to get on target with it. The lightweight, the polymer, and it breaks down very easily.
Yes, it does. Let's take the mag out. Make sure bring it back just a little bit. Press down on the two, release. And there you go. I mean, it doesn't really get much simpler than that.
Yeah, I mean, I can tear down the 1911 pretty quickly, but certainly not as fast as this. And all you have in here, you have your recoil spring, and you have your barrel. And everything comes right out. Real easy cleaning. When you put it back, don't put a whole lot of lube on it.
No.
I just do little touch spots just where it needs to have it. Get it all cleaned back up, and back in business. Right back into the slide.
We're ready to go.
Seriously, I mean, it's just that easy. Now, in terms of safety, there is a safety on here. It's built in to the trigger. There's a little double trigger in there. You can see I'm kind of barely pushing on it right there. Without that, there is no pulling back on this trigger. You have to have your thumb or finger directly on that in order to pull that back. It unlatches the trigger mechanism if you have that. So you're not going to get it caught and have it misfire. The thing is, if you pull this trigger, it's going to go boom.
Yes.
And so your safety is up here, and it's right here.
Yep.
So in terms of firing it, getting this thing down at the range, a lot of fun. We've run all kinds of different ammo through it. Ultramax reloads, PMCs, steel, the steel stuff that we found. I mean, every type of ammo that we could put in it, we've been able to fire through this. With one exception, is I found this really cheap Herter's steel-cased, polymer-coated rounds. Now, it's not that they won't fire, it's just that the rifling in here eats that up and it will end up clogging up the rifling. Yeah. So I'm not going to recommend that. In the Beretta and the other ones that have normal rifling, totally fine. Glock, no. That's the only real downside is that one type of ammo.
There's so many others to choose. So many others to choose from. So stay away from it.
Yeah, I mean, and we're starting to find 200 packs of 9mm Remington for $74, $75. So the price is coming down on 9. It's becoming easier to find. So why cheap out on something when you can buy decent ammo for it? Ergonomics. I'm really surprised how well it feels for a company who had never been in the gun business before. And the ergonomics on this are identical to the 17. It has such a good feel to it. Easy to hold, easy to get a good grip on. And it just works.
It's a straight shooter. I mean, I really enjoy it.
Now, I don't want to say that I'm like, the huge Glock boy and it's the only gun that you should have. What I will say, after comparing a dozen or so different guns, it's what I chose.
And again, it's flavor, some of the people we work with, they carry 45s.
Absolutely.
Some carry Glocks, some carry Beretta.
Now,
I mean, it comes down to what's comfortable for you.
Let's also compare it to this 1911. Now, this is a 1911 Commander size. And you can see size, almost identical. Weight, this has a little more weight to it because it's got this whole steel frame versus the polymer frame. This thing weighs a lot less. Now, that's a good thing. Right. On the 45,
definitely.
You got a little more bang going on, so it helps with the recoil.
I agree.
But again, 7 rounds versus 15, I think it's hard to argue that point right there.
Exactly.
And you have your magazine release, slide lock release. Really, not much else to it.
No, it really isn't.
Now, the question comes up, is this one that we would recommend to someone who is just getting into firearms and wants a carry gun? And I think the debate goes on both sides.
It does. I mean, it comes down to the individual actually purchasing it. This may not be comfortable for them. Maybe they like that instead.
What about the external safety issues?
There is that, and it does creep out a lot of people.
I know it does. I've talked to a lot of people. They're just not comfortable firing or carrying the Glock because you make a mistake and you pull that trigger, it's going to go boom.
Exactly.
The flip side to that is you start adding external safeties that you have to remember to do every time, and you better practice a lot with unholstering and making sure that all in one motion you're flipping that
Granted,
safety
you
off.
should be practicing anyway.
Absolutely.
But you're right. I mean, it has to come down to muscle memory, and if you're not going to be practicing, whether it's the 1911 or Beretta or whatever it is, you just have to be prepared for that.
Yeah. Price rise, you're looking, depending on where you buy it from, probably on the low end around $530, high end around $550, somewhere in that range. Almost every shop is going to have these. They're very easy. They're super common. Not going to have a problem. Highly recommend go to a range, borrow one, rent one, and try it out for yourself. It's a big thumbs up for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it.
That's a good point.
All right. Well, any other closing comments that you have on it? No. I know you're a big Glock fan, so.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I own a 1911 as well. Love it. But as far as Kerry, this is it for me.
All right. Well, this has been Kerry and Chad with the Firearm Show. We'll catch you next time.
Take care.